Check, check, check. 1, 2, check, check. What's up, everybody? Six here, chilling with Nick Huff from Hard Knock, and we're about to break down 44 more. Let's go.
What's up, sir?
What up, man? How you doing?
Good, man. I'm glad we finally were able to do this.
It's about time, man. I'm excited.
Thank you for taking the time.
Well, no, thank you, man.
Walk us through a little bit of what we're gonna get into. Bobby Tarantino 2.
Yeah, Bobby Tarantino 2 just came out a little bit ago. The first single, actually, 44 More.
Yep. Tell me the story behind that.
Yeah, this is actually one of my favorites just because of, you know, we kind of combined 4 beats into one. So, just a little backstory. Logic was on tour and he was like, yo, we got to hit the fans with Bobby Tarantino 2.
Yep.
And at this point, we didn't have any records. So I was like, going on tour next week, maybe? And it was like, all right, at the crib, maybe cooked up like 30 beats, 30 like trap beats.
In a week.
In a week, probably, in a week. Just like ideas here and there. Just knowing like when I get on the road that we're gonna, you know, go in and just like set up in the green room. So this was literally one of them. And he was like, yo, we gotta do a 44 more. Just because 44 bars on the first project was like a fan favorite.
Yep, my favorite.
Spitting bars, yeah, your favorite. You told me that before actually. And then
KD's favorite.
KD's favorite. And KD actually tweeted, I think, one of the songs off this project too. So shout out to KD. He's always been supportive.
Hometown.
Hometown.
You're a big unlike Bob, you're actually a big basketball fan.
I'm a huge basketball fan. Yeah, like PG County, you know. I remember meeting KD when I was still living in Maryland in like 2010. And when he pulled up, it was at a beat battle actually.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Oh, so you guys go back.
No, but I didn't know him.
Right.
He actually pulled up with Wale.
Oh, damn. Okay.
And it was like a beat battle that I was, you know, battling in. And he like was outside and like there's like a whole big crowd. And it was like, this is the tallest dude I've ever seen in my life. But
right.
Yeah, but he's a hometown hero, so shout out to KD. So originally, like, if you saw the behind the scenes that Logic put out, I know a lot of people are asking, like, what happened to that vocal sample? So basically in the first 44 bars, there's this sample. And this is kind of chopped up a little bit.
The original is what, Barrington Levy?
Barrington Levy.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, cool, like, let's see what we can do with that, and basically just put some drums on it. Yeah, so we had that, and we were like, cool. But we're also like, damn, are we trying to clear this? Which is a big thing nowadays, man, because you can get like a really big song, you know, platinum, whatever, and if the sample takes up, you know, 75% of the publishing, it's like, you're losing a lot of that bread, you know what I'm saying? And we knew 44 bars was a big one. Shout out to Barrington. But we were like, 44 more, let's just keep it, you know, our own thing, you know what I'm saying? So actually ended up just having these drums, I think, just rocking. And then I had this sample. Actually, this is my boy Illmind. Shout out to Illmind, man. He always comes through and blesses me with dope ass melodies. So
Illmind, for the people who actually don't know,
man,
he's also the person who came, not only is he for the people, he's also the person that I first heard the term boom trap.
Boom trap.
He actually had a project called Boom Trap.
Yo, yeah, he like put out drum kits and stuff called Boom Trap. And that's his whole brand and stuff. So shout out to Illmind, just talking to him the other day. But he always laces me with like melodies and he's always working. So he's always creating dope melodies and it's like, yo, Six, here you go. Like, let's cook up some shit. So
isn't that dope to be at a spot of career where other producers saying you should? Well,
first of all, not any other producer, Illmind. Like, I remember, like, me and my boy would watch Illmind back in the day, be like, yo, these are the hardest beats ever. Like, if I can get to that level, like, that's crazy. But now it's like, that's my boy. He's, like, trying to work, and I'm trying to work, and so it's, like, full circle. But he sent me this, which I was like, oh, damn. That's just a vibe.
So you already had the original drums. And
I already had the drums.
Which blend perfectly.
Which is blend, yeah.
Did he have the original drums or he randomly just sent you this?
Just that melody, literally just this melody.
Yeah.
In a pack of like probably 10 other ideas. And I just kind of like, it's just like trial and error, a lot of it. Like when making beats, in my process, I don't try to think about it. I just like make it and just like plug different sounds here and there until I end up with the sound I like. Cause I wouldn't know where to use the sample, but I had the drums.
Right.
And I was like, all right, let me just throw it in here. I sped it up a little bit. So originally like 130 BPM, this is 140.
Okay.
So I sped it up and then I like actually flowed with it perfectly. And I think when I played it for Logic, this was the first day of tour that I went to tour. I just played it. He was like, what's that? And then just like, started writing the whole first verse just off this 4-bar loop.
That's insane.
But then we were like, cool, like he was writing the whole song to it, just to this one beat. But we were like, let's do something different. I think Logic was like, let's switch it up like every, I guess it would be like 11 bars, right? 12 bars if it's 44. So it was like 4 different beats and like he's going back and forth between each. So pulled up this one right here. And he's like, oh, that's dope. Actually, originally this was at 130 as well, but the first beat was 140 BPM, so I sped this up. And this is the preach. No, preach. Yep. But that basically just started with, this is when song was dope because it's just like a synth line. And I don't even mind like showing them like my plugins and stuff. So Serum, dope plugin. Like super dope.
What does this do?
It's the leading sound of the second part of 44 More. And that's literally just like programmed notes. I'm even giving away the notes. Like these were like B, F sharp, you know? You know, gotta have the 808 in there. The classic. And then the other slide right there. You just click that right there.
This makes me want to be a producer.
Yeah, man, I'll teach you. You can hear those slides too. I always do that at the end of my loops. I don't know why.
What's that?
Yeah, man. From that point, I just added drums. Yeah, I could solo out like the hats. Super simple, like, you know.
Talk about the key to simplicity. Sometimes I feel like fools just be trying to put way too much stuff on there.
Honestly, like, especially with my hi-hats and stuff, I like to keep it just like pretty basic. I always just hear just like so super simple. I don't know why, and just have like the 808s and the synth kind of driving it. Every part is super simple, and then once you put it together, it should all make sense. And the kick, pretty, you know. Simple pattern. Like, this is like a lunch table pattern. Like, any kid in the lunch table knows how to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyone can do that, man. But it's all about, like, just each sound. I've said this before, man. Each sound just gotta be, like, crucial. And the 808. I think the 808 really, like, makes it epic just because of how heavy it is. So basically, combine this with the first beat, which actually happened to be in the same key. He was like, take this beat, which was the first beat that he was writing to, and he was like, all right, cool, take that, but then like, let it flow into this beat. And I was like, damn, it's like the same key. I didn't have to do any work. So I just like literally like, combined it, same BPM, same key. So that was like super clutch. I was like, damn, that's like meant to be type of thing.
So sometimes when you're making beats, how do you know how to leave the space for the vocal?
Yeah, so, you know, I'll keep my beats pretty simple just because sometimes I'll just even throw an acapella on there or something just to fill up that space of where there'll be vocals in order for me to not overproduce it. Because it could sound so sick, like with all the sounds added, and then you throw vocals on it and then you end up taking out all the sounds anyway.
So you'll take a previously recorded acapella?
Yeah, why not? I'll take like a Nas acapella or something. Okay. Like they're all over YouTube and stuff. You can download. Like I even have like Logic acapellas that I just have over the. That
are in the same tempo and the same.
Not even. Sometimes I'll just chop them up and speed them up. I want to show you what I mean because I use this acapella all the time and. You guys will recognize this. So this is basically all the samples I ever chopped up. Like,
damn.
Yeah, these are a lot. Oh, yep, here we go.
This the type of shit they said
you know what I mean?
Really wanted.
I mean, you can even hear it trilled, like.
This the type of shit they said they really wanted. So I gave them this right here, that go get bloody.
Just so you know what that pocket of the vocal.
Just so I know the pocket vocal. So when I hear that, I'm like.
This the type of shit they said.
Oh, it needs a pad underneath it because. I just feel like I need a pad, you know, or like sometimes I'm just like working on a beat. I'm trying to hear a rapper on this. And so I'll just download an acapella and just throw it on there and just like rock out to it at the crib.
You're gonna have to release a mixtape just with all the originals.
Hey, comment down below if you guys want that for real, because I can even slow it down. Like if you want some super fucking trill.
This the type
You know what I mean?
they said they really wanted. So I gave
So like, I just have fun with it, man, and like,
you
you know,
have to.
and then when sometimes I'll send Bob the beats, or sorry, Logic the beats with the acapellas. He'd be like, take that shit off, man. I'm trying to rap on this. I'm like, oh, sorry, man. Well, basically the session is like loading up all these random files, and it's just like I probably aren't using any of these files in the session, but just trial and error, me just plugging stuff in, you know, until I end up with the final piece that I'm comfortable with. Oh yeah, this is like one of my favorite parts. When this part comes in, you know, back to back, and he just spazzed on this. But I think what really drives this is a lot of just random. Oh, this was cool. This is a secret I'm gonna show people in FL. You gotta use this thing called the FPC. And you basically can just like load each sound into each pad and then assign a note to it. So you just, this right here, map notes. And then when you do that and you just press each key, it'll just map it. So that's kind of how I just do like my
It's kind of like an MPC?
makeshift MPC. Yeah, just on my FL Studio. And you know, I just found sounds and then literally just drag them in.
FL is Fruity Loops, right?
Fruity Loops.
That's crazy how much it's advanced over the years. Because
Yeah.
it's like, at the beginning it used to be like, I make beats, I'm on Fruity Loops. But now like you have all these other
No.
plugins on Fruity Loops, it's like
Fruity
a
Loops,
series.
Originally when they first came out, it was like the premier dance and EDM software.
Yeah.
Like that's what it said on the cover. But yeah, like you said, like now, I think it's the FL12. And you know, a lot of hip hop producers use FL. I know Metro uses FL. All the dope trap producers use FL, like Southside.
What do you think that is? It's just easier to pick up? Or?
Yeah, I think it was just easy. I think it was just one like homies telling other people like how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like my homie taught me how to use FL. So I think that's just kind of how it spread. Just easy to teach too. Super easy to teach because I've tried Ableton, I've tried Reason, GarageBand, like all that. But when I got FL, I was like, all right, this like all just clicks in my head for some reason.
I'm glad it's called FL now because when people used to be like, yeah, I made this beat on Fruity Loops.
Oh
I
yeah,
was
Fruity
like,
Loops, yeah.
I just don't even sound right.
Let's just call it FL. But yeah, so I just like kind of figured out this pattern and just like the other beat, it's just that and an 808 with some drums. There's no like lead line, there's no like pads. I've always kept my beats like that, like just drums, 808, and like a distinct lead sound. That's all you really need, to be honest. And you know, you put everything together, like throw in a snare. And throw in. I think this is what I had at first. And then I was like, all right, cool, it needs a little more bounce. So that's when these guys came in. This is also a tip I got from a lot of FL producers. So basically, I just take the same hi-hat and I just pitch it down.
What does that mean to pitch it down?
So like, I can even show you on the screen. If you throw it into this, you can like pitch anything down. So you see the notes here, like C is like usually middle C. That's like the starting point. And then you got B, you know, you go down. So this is like the main hi-hat sound. Oops. Just this guy. But then I threw in, if we just do this, you see how it kind of sounds lower? And that's cool just to like make your hi-hats like, you know, differentiate it. Because it sounds like there's like multiple hi-hats maybe, but it's really just one that you just like pitch down and layered, you know. Just to give it a little more character. At this point, I'm like, all right, that's rocking. And then course, the 808. I love my 808s loud as hell, to be honest. I don't put anything on it too in the master or nothing. I just let it live, let it breathe, man.
Let it breathe.
Let it breathe.
Who said that? Jay?
Yeah, that's that over that Ninth Wonder beat. I want to say.
Just let that bitch breathe.
Yeah, like that's so important. Like just let it breathe, because like you gotta remember, they're still gonna put words over this. There's still gotta be like an artist, a rapper on it, you know. So you gotta always think about that. You gotta leave room for them to have the ability to make their, you know, voice and instrument if there's space for that. So, and then combine the first beat, combine the second beat, and now we got the third beat.
Definitely, the third beat definitely has some Kanye vibes to it.
Yeah.
What is that? Is it just a sample?
Yeah, the chants, like,
the chants.
Like people that know my beats and stuff, you can always find like vocal chants, gang related. I mean, every album, like even Midnight, has a vocal chop in the beginning. I just love vocals. I don't know why. I just love vocals.
Is that something like you originally were like, oh, this is gonna be my sound. I'm gonna have a bunch of like chopped up samples, or
You know what I think it is?
Happened?
I think it's because I'm not like really good at like piano and like melodies. And when I first came up, I was like broke and I couldn't buy sounds and I couldn't buy plugins. I couldn't buy keyboards. So I was like, I would always just like take cool vocal sounds because that was the coolest thing that I could find.
Yep.
That was like, I didn't have to tweak it. I was like, this already sounds like some cool stuff. Like this already sounds like a sample. So I think I just got like used to building around like vocals rather than like chords and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Kanye did that early on.
Yeah, kind of like Kanye's my favorite producer, Dilla. You can hear Dilla chop up tons of vocal samples, like Players off of
Slum Village.
Slum Village.
Yep.
Which I
Fantastic
actually
Volume
sampled
2.
that. Which I actually sampled that sample on Upgrade. Just because Dilla, like I love Dilla that much, and it's like that was like the sickest vocal sample, Singers Unlimited, and like so I've always done that. So vocals, yeah, I just love that. And I think Logic loves that too. He loves that.
It's that classic hip hop sound.
Yeah, like I feel like you can't go wrong with that. Even like the KRS-One, the boop boop booyakasha, like that sound can make any beat sound tight, for real, like any beat. So I think that's kind of where like my ears like, always goes to for some reason. So these are all beats, man, that I just like made at the crib, not knowing like where it was gonna go. And it's like that's what happens to all the beats. Like you're just making stuff at the crib, you know what I'm saying? Like no one's around, you're just like watching basketball, you're just making beats. And then, you know, fast forward like 3 months later and it's like, you know, everywhere, like, you know, people are loving it, people hitting it up. Like that's the crazy thing.
How crazy was it that the original 44, KD, is what he was listening to when he decided to play for the Warriors?
Bro, that was crazy. Like in the article, they were like in depth breaking the song down, and like they were saying KD was riding around to it all week. Wow, like something that I think I'm doing at the time is so minimal can mean like so much to somebody else, and like the whole world was watching that dude at that time, and the fact that he was listening to something that I just made like at the crib is like, that's the crazy part about all this. Like,
Yep.
You never know what's gonna happen to any of it. So don't think like nothing's gonna go in vain. Like you never know like what's gonna happen. You never know like KD is gonna like that, like bump it. Like the other day I just saw on Twitter that him and Steph were shooting around to Yuck. And I was like, I know KD's putting them on. I was like, I know it. I was like, that's so sick. Like he's a hip hop head. He knows his stuff.
Yeah.
So it's awesome, yeah. I love it.
Who wins at a game of horse? You're KD.
Who wins? Come on, man. I'm gonna let KD
Hey,
have that,
you got
dog.
a mean jump shot though.
Hey, man, KD, like he can do anything. Who's stopping KD? To be honest, man. Now one day, man, we're because I know KD makes beats too.
He does.
So
And
we're
he be
definitely
rapping
gonna
a little bit.
dog.
On
We're
that
gonna
Wale mixtape.
Yo, KD, if you're watching, let's collab on a beat, man. That would be awesome.
Yo, let me get that exclusive though.
Yo, I got you. So 422. This is the name of the fourth beat. I don't know why I called it 422, but maybe I made it at that time or something. But this is actually my favorite beat, I think, in the whole thing, just because this is just a random melody I came up with on the same plugin, Serum. I just thought that was so sick. it sounds like some like Blade Runner almost. Like, you know what I'm saying?
The crazy part is that these 4 beats could be 4 different songs.
They could. I was like, ooh, this is cool. Yep, same plugin, Serum. The cool thing actually, attack. Attack is one of my favorite things. So you said this is 44 milliseconds. That's how late each note is. So I can bring it down, see? You can hear the attack. It just sounds like more like a techno sound maybe. But you just gotta move the attack up, smooth it out. Woo. Then it sounds more like a live natural instrument, because no one's really playing an instrument like. So that's kind of like how I make my stuff sound more like swag, really. So I was like, cool. Let that rock, you know, a little intro. But I was like, how could I make this drop hard as hell? So I was like, all right, let me just like pitch up that initial lead line. Let me pitch it up an octave, meaning 12 steps. And you'll hear it, I'll play it. You see how it's higher? So basically when it drops, it's at a higher octave. And I think that's just like gives it energy so I can play it like going into it. But it's the same lead line, same sound. And once again, one lead sound, an 808, and drums. That's kind of the foundation for this song, I guess. Like now I'm like going into it, it's like, yep, that's the same thing I did for each of these beats. Like 808, lead line, drums, man. So and for some reason when I took it up to that higher octave, I was like, all right, this is rocking a little harder now. And also I think the lateness, I put a lot of lateness on the hi-hats, meaning it's not directly on time. If you slide it to the right a little bit, you're gonna have like a drag to it without, like the people won't even realize it, but that's what's happening. It's like the hi-hats are late, which is making your head like go like that, you know what I'm saying? It's a little late, so it's like, oh snap. But like people don't know that, but it's like subconscious.
That's something Dilla did a lot.
Yeah, like just like doing certain things that people don't even know it's happening, but like it makes a huge difference. Yeah, Dilla like really like, he would layer his samples on like his bass lines like crazy times and people probably wouldn't even know it, like just frequencies. But it makes a difference, like the subs and everything.
And I think it makes it human too, because it's like some producers will just take one beat and they'll just repeat it. They'll just drop it wherever it needs to drop and just like repeat it throughout the whole song. But I think there's a human element to where one's slightly ahead, the other one's slightly behind.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So it's more of a live approach. Like a live band they're not all playing together. The reason bands sound tight is because like each person has their own individual like rhythm and swing. But when they all come together, it should work. And that's kind of what this is. Like, even the synth is like super late on the beat. It's like, I can play with the metronome even, and you can probably hear how late it is. And like, you need to see the space. Like, it's kind of lagging a little bit. But when it drops, that's the key when it drops. And of course that 808. And man, yeah, this beat was super simple too. But when you combine like all 4 of those beats together, you get like a collage of like a bunch of different, you know, styles that I can do, I guess, which is like super cool. I was really excited to put it out just so people were like, damn, like, because we're coming from everybody and like 1-800. And like we were rocking off 1-800, which, man, I'm so happy to like be a part of that song. But I was like, just let you know, like, I'm trying to come back with like some hard shit. So that's kind of why I really like 44 more, because it shows off Logic's bars, but at the same time, it's like, damn, like all 4 of those beats I think are pretty hard. So that's why I really like this one, man. I think fans like it too, man. It was awesome.
This is how you get to flex. This is your
That's how you get
to
flex. Like, just let the music talk. You know, we talk like, you know, I'm a low-key guy behind the scenes, but yeah, sometimes you gotta just like let the music speak. People will recognize it, you know what I'm saying?
It's at Aquarius 17th.
Hey man, yo, shout out to Nick Huff, February 17th.
We got the
Aquarius
same birthday.
gang, we got the same birthday. You know, it's only right we finally do this, so.
Hell yeah. Speak about that a little bit. Speak about being in the cut. Because like, I feel like through this whole process, you've been in the cut. Like you've been the backbone of the sound, of the Logic sound. And, you know, I feel like a lot of producers, especially nowadays, it's like everybody's like, you hear everybody's name at the beginning of songs, at the end of songs. Everybody's like, it's like they almost want to be as big as the artist or bigger than the artist.
Yeah.
You kind of taken more of an old school approach.
My top 3 favorite producers don't have a tag. Kanye, Dilla, No ID. Like, they just let their music speak for itself. Kanye is a little more out there. You know, you see Kanye, he's an artist too, but No ID, man, that dude has been in the game for like 30 years, has produced for everybody. But the average dude on the street is not gonna know who No ID is, you know what I'm saying? And but his music, like the real ones know. I think that's where I wanna be at, like the real ones know. Like, the real ones like do their research and like educate themselves. Like Dilla, he didn't have a tag, but just because his beats were so hard, people knew who he was, you know what I'm saying? So, but also my personality, I've always been chill. I've always been like, in band in elementary school, I was the drummer in the back, in the corner, like just rocking out on drums. But I was like, you know, in the cut, and like role playing is like important. You need someone just that knows their role and like can just like execute on their role. You know, I'm not the guy that's gonna be like, yo, I got it, like bring me out on stage, like I made this, like you got it. Nah, like I feel like my role is to benefit the artist the most and like give him the materials it takes for them to get whatever they're out. Like that's dope to me. Like that's a big responsibility as a producer. I don't see that as like, oh, that's weak, like you're doing some shit for someone else. I see it as like, nah, like without that, like they don't have anything to write on. And like that's kind of where like, I guess I just see it in a more like optimistic way, you know what I mean?
For sure. Now you're actually getting executive producer credit on albums too, which is huge.
Which is awesome. It takes time, you know? I'll take it back to Welcome to Forever. I had like 3 beats on that out of 21 songs maybe. And then Under Pressure slowly came around. I had like 6 beats out of that. I just started like grinding like even harder. Like I was literally all I was doing. And like you come to the crib where like you just hear beats just like coming out my little room when you would just come over and chill with the homies. But like that's what it was. Like I was just like locking myself until I got to that point. Like he wasn't just gonna give me that title. I had to work for it, you know. And then Incredible True Story came around. I did like 80% of that. And then BT2, I did every song on that. And that's when I was like, oh snap, like really like locking myself in the bedroom kind of worked, you know what I'm saying? Like people recognized it. Logic recognized it, and he has a lot more trust in me now too. He'll ask me, oh, what do you think we should do with this? Do you think we should extend this song? What do you think? And he'll take my advice like to heart. And like a lot of artists don't do that, man. But the fact that, you know, I've gone to the level where people can appreciate my opinion on stuff, like that's cool to me. That's really cool to me because I definitely had to grind.
Did you ever get worried when he signed to No ID?
Oh yeah.
Where you were like, yo, is No ID gonna produce
Bro,
everything?
He
like,
signed to Def Jam. He moved to LA. I think the first week he was with Hit Boy, No ID, Swifty, a couple other people that are crazy. And I was like, oh snap. I'm like still in Maryland. I'm still in school. Like no albums under my belt, no nothing. And that pushed me. That pushed me like crazy. But one thing that I always say is that Logic always looked out for me. He always invited me to Cali and stuff. Even like, he was just like, yo, come to Cali. Let's cook on some stuff. Even if he had a session with No ID the whole week, you know? But I was there, and I was there. I would be on the couch like this, like just watching how they work. And Swifty and Logic, and I would just watch. And to see it come up now, and I like saw No ID at the Grammys, and we like dapped up. And I was like, oh snap, this is crazy. It came full circle for real from when I first started to come into Cali and I met him. So yeah, man, work, the grind. Like I can definitely admit that. Like I put in the work to get here for sure.